So this free agency, the Washington Commanders spent a lot of time addressing the interior defensive line, which left a lot of fans believing they abandoned the edge rusher market. Well, I'm here to tell you the Washington Commanders may have found a sneaky athletic gem at the edge rusher position. Somebody that you may have looked at and was like, who the heck is that? But after further review, he may absolutely be a beast. Let's talk about it.
The way that we live is not for everybody.
Nah, that ain't it, y'all.
How do you think the rest of Jaden Daniels' career is going to go? If we're, 6, 7 games into Jaden Daniels' career and he's already milking injuries, like...
Stop saying my name, you dick riding bastard. I love the way she move it, shake it on me. When she cry for him, and Shawty is the winner. You can tell that Shawty's no beginner, she's confident.
YouTube, what's going on? It's Juan Gotti here. We have the Washington Commanders video, and in today's video, I'm coming on here with the video where we're going to be talking about the Washington Commanders signing an edge rusher that could absolutely be a beast if his potential is unlocked. So without further ado, let's get straight into today's video. Before we do, make sure you guys go down below, leave a like on this video, subscribe to the channel if you are new, turn on post notifications so you get notified when I upload new videos like this to the channel. We're on the road to 9,000 subscribers, so it'll greatly appreciate. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers, so we greatly appreciate if you haven't reached that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. And let's get straight into today's video. So the Washington Commanders not necessarily went out and got an edge rusher that was notable. We were tied to Trey Hendrickson. We were tied to Myles Garrett. We were tied to Khalil Mack. We wanted Joey Bosa. We had interest in DeMarcus Lawrence. And none of those guys are here. And quite frankly, again, it's simply because Adam Peters is not going to overpay for aging veterans. Now, Khalil Mack is the only one out of that bunch that I would have been fine with giving up however much he wanted, because he was just one season away from having 17.5 sacks. However, he re-signed with the Chargers. And everyone else, Trey Hendrickson was a long shot. I mean, I wanted him. There was a chance that we may have been interested, but it seems as if Cincinnati, with the paying of T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, actually opens up an opportunity for them to be able to pay Trey Hendrickson. And obviously, we only have 5 draft picks now, and I don't think Adam Peters wants to give up more draft capital. In fact, I think he wants to get draft capital back. So that left Washington with a little certain look of a dilemma, because what are we going to do at pass rusher? A lot of Commanders fans felt like we did not have a single pass rusher on this roster. Was it going to be Dorrance Armstrong? Was it going to be Cleveland Ferrell? Was it going to be Jalen Holmes, who we re-signed? I don't think so. I think it is Jacob Martin, who we just got in free agency. He's 29. He ran a 4.5 at the draft combine. He's 265, 6'2". He's an athletic demon. Now, again, he's very light, if you ask me, as an edge rusher. So he's not a guy that it can be a necessary enforcer in the run game. But I have this certain feel, since we don't have this dominant pass rusher, we're going to be playing situational pass rush, if you get what I'm trying to say. Or we're going to be playing pass rushers that, got the hot hand. How like in basketball, where they keep feeding the player that's scoring all the points. I think that's how we're going to do it. Or you heard in football, running back by committee. Maybe we do something like that, where it's edge rusher by committee, because we don't have a guy that is just that dominant. Now, if you go back to last year, I think it's going to be looking very similar to what we did with Dante Fowler, Frankie Louvu, etc. I think Washington's lack of, I wouldn't say aggressiveness, because they tried to get some pass rushers, but how they run their defense. They use Frankie Louvu as a pass rusher a lot. They use guys like Dante Fowler, getting after the quarterback, who had a really good year. They rely on guys like that to turn up. And I think that's what their whole process is. And their whole mentality behind signing Jacob Martin is, we got to hope he has a Dante Fowler kind of season impact. And the thing about Jacob Martin is, he's been around for quite some time. He played for the Texans, he played for the Broncos, and he played for the Chicago Bears. And he's been around, but teams keep signing him and keep trading for him because he has talent. I'm telling you guys, anytime this guy get his hands on the quarterback, it's a strip sack. You can count it as a strip sack. He's somebody that It's on this defense that actually goes for the ball. So I think that's the biggest reason that sold Washington on Adam Peters. They were able to get the most out of Dante Fowler, who before the last season happened only had one other double-digit sack season. So clearly, there's something working when it comes to from our pass rush specialists and our coaches that solidify and only work with the defensive line and the pass rushers. Maybe RK got something to do with that, but I think Jacob Martin could come in and be really good for us for this 1 year. I don't necessarily think he's going to be a long-term guy. I don't think he's necessarily a guy that is going to be somebody that is going to just turn into a guy that you rely on every single play. But I do think he's going to come in situational pass rushes, and he's going to be able to get after the quarterback. Again, 4-5 as a defensive end is really crazy. Anytime he gets his hands on a quarterback, he's going for the ball. And I think how Washington's defensive line is going to look this year, I think they're going to go with a certain look of Deron Payne, Jerzon Newton, and Javon Kinlaw is going to be a lot on the edge. I do. I think they want to go heavy and beefy on the defensive line so they can kind of stop the run because again last year scared the heck out of our general manager, and he was so fed up with the lack of ability to stop the run last year. So that's why he went ham with addressing it this offseason. And I think that's what we're going to have our defensive line looking. We're going to be very beefy. We're not going to have edge rushers necessarily getting after the quarterback on first and second down. I think they're going to sub in, or they're going to be rotating in on pass rushing downs. So I think your edge rushers, or your defensive ends, I should say, are going to be Dorrance Armstrong and Javon Kinlaw. And then in the middle, it's going to be Deron Payne and some sort of Jerzon Newton, Johnny Newton, and Eddie Goldman and Dietrich Wise and stuff like that. And given the fact that Dietrich Wise is one of the best run stuffers in the NFL, and Patriots fans alluded to that, I think that may end up being your starter. Now, obviously, it's going to have to work out in camp, and you're going to have to see how camp goes. But I think I figured out their philosophy and how they feel like they need to run this defensive line this upcoming year. That's why we're not necessarily geeking to pay Joey Bosa all this money, or pay DeMarcus Lawrence all this money, because that's not necessarily how we want to run our defense. And we always still had Cleveland Ferrell as well, who was a really good run stuffer too. But strictly for pass rushing and get after the quarterback, I think Jacob Martin is your guy. He brings a tenacity. He finishes very very hard on left tackle. And getting after the quarterback. And he's quick. He's very untouchable, and he gets underneath the block. And he's gone as soon as he's up the field. So this guy, I would just say keep an eye out for him. I'm not telling you he's going to come in and just be this stud as far as down the road, but if there's one team that knows how to extract 1 year greatness out of a player, it's this staff of the Washington Commanders. Jacob Martin hasn't necessarily had a season in which he was really good. He didn't put up a lot of stats in none of the seasons that he's been in the NFL, but again, similar to how I feel like they're going to do with Javon Kinlaw, they're getting a player that's coming off of a season in which he played okay, solid, and playing some of his best ball. And I think our coaches are going to be like, hey, man, we got to get our hands on this guy and get him in here so we can be able to extract the best version of him for this one season. That's the kind of way we're building this roster. Again, I want to constantly remind you that, like, we're not signing these guys to a long-term deal. In the past, Ron Rivera and all these other coaches would have signed Jacob Martin to a 3-year deal. No, we're signing him to a 1-year deal. We see the potential. We're going to work with him. We're going to get him here, and we're going to extract all that we can from him out of 1 year. That's what we did to Dante Fowler. This is literally Dante Fowler's replacement. This is literally a better Dante Fowler, if you ask me. And it's no shot at Dante Fowler. He was really good last year, but this guy's, again, much more insanely faster, much more insanely quicker, athletic freak. Ran a 4.5 at the combine, 6'2", and his swim move is just outstandingly fast. He knows how to use his hands, get underneath for the left tackle, right tackle to dodge him, and get around the edge and swipe at the football. That's something that I think he brings that was missing on this defense. Like when we would get sacks last year, we would barely get forced fumbles or strip sack fumbles, and that's what we need. We need those kind of plays, and this offense is so prolific, led by 5, that these are the things that are going to help us separate from other teams in the conference, like getting the ball back for Jaden Daniels in the offense and getting them short fields and getting turnovers and on third down getting stops. And again, this is where I think he comes into play because he's quite frankly outside of Frankie Louisville, because I do think that that's what they plan on doing. Because what if Jordan McGee takes a big step this year? Like, what if Jordan McGee's, and then it's not because Frankie Louisville's going to only be a pass rusher, but we know how good he is as being a chess piece. You can move him all around, outside, inside linebacker, edge rusher. What if Jordan McGee's able to take a large step? So then it's Jordan McGee and Bobby Wagner as your main linebackers, and then you're able to move around Frankie Louisville to the edge and use him a lot more as an edge rusher. Again, not only as an edge rusher because you still want to use him as a linebacker, but a lot as an edge rusher, which means your edge rushers on key passing downs are Jacob Martin and Frankie Louisville. And again, we know how good Frankie Louisville was last year. He was so close to getting double-digit sacks. So again, I think it's just all about how they decide to scheme it up. And if I had to take a guess, it would look something like Deron Payne, Dietrich Wise, Dorrance Armstrong, and Javon Kinlaw as your 4 defensive linemen on first and second down. And then on third downs or key passing downs that you would assume that it's a pass on, your edge rushers are going to look something like Jacob Martin, Frankie Louisville, and interiorly Javon Kinlaw and Deron Payne. Because Javon Kinlaw is a menace when it comes to getting interior pressure. So I don't know, man. I essentially just want y'all guys to understand, like, we don't have big names in the defensive line room besides Deron Payne and Javon Kinlaw. But the people that they're bringing in, man, I'm telling you, they got some talent. And this guy, Jacob Martin, has super freak abilities. It just has to be tapped into. And if it's one coaching staff that I believe can get the best out of this guy for this one season, it's the Washington Commanders. So there you have it. Let me know what you guys thought of this video in the comment section down below. How confident are you in this coaching staff to have this defensive line playing really good this year? Me personally, I'm excited and I'm definitely confident, especially when it comes to stopping the run. Now again, pass rushing, we're gonna have to, be magical with how we move around, strategic how we move around. But what I just laid out for you guys, I think is a good method for success. As always, me, juangottibusiness, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 10,000 subscribers. We greatly appreciate if you can reach that goal as soon as possible. Thank you so much. You have a blessed one. Stay safe. Be easy out there.
Ballin' like I'm D-Sean, throw the bomb, G. That's IG, my jersey never seen a lawn.